How does cooking make me feel? I feel cooking is probably one of the most historic, purest forms of love. Mothers do it for their children, families do it for each other. It's one of the most physical forms, or the only physical form that I know that translate the feeling of nourishment. And I think it's one of those ancient things that no matter what color you are, no matter what gender, what race you are, it is something that you need. And no matter who gives it to you, especially if you're hungry, you're willing to receive. I started cooking out with my mom when I was 5 years old. I was a fat little boy in the kitchen and had this amazing obsession with her food. And I would stand and watch her cook all the time. And because I was in her kitchen, she would let me taste things, and that's how I learned how to taste things, not just cook. I grew up in Oakland. We grew up very, very poor. And I think for many, many years, I had a self-shame about my identity and my own story. And given the fact that my parents have been laborers their whole life, I don't think they felt any pride. I think if anything, they felt shame, and they were working just to be equal with everyone else. And I've always felt that weight from them ever since I was little. And the beautiful and amazing thing was, whether it was Bravo Top Chef or San Francisco Rising Star Chef, whatever it is, or KQED PBS, I get overwhelmed with emotion and joy for me telling my truth. And the fact that I'm telling my truth, which is filled with like pain and heart, that people resonate with that. It's extremely difficult to be vulnerable. I'm continually feel very, very blessed, for every opportunity. I've always loved cooking. Like going into junior high, going to high school, I became more and more obsessed with food. Coming out of high school, I told my mom, I was like, I don't want to go to college, I want to go to culinary school. It caught her off guard, but I deeply appreciate her support, and because it caught her off guard, it made me want to be that more serious in cooking and prove myself that it was a worthy investment. From culinary school, it opened a whole new world for me on what food could be. I think in my adolescent years, naturally, of course, I just knew of Vietnamese food and what my mom cooked, and I wanted to know the limits and boundaries of my palate beyond that. There was something missing 10 years into my career. I wanted to cook Vietnamese food. I want to go back to what my mom cooked. So, and digging deeper and further into that, I started to realize that it wasn't just Vietnamese food that she was cooking, but it was Vietnamese diaspora. She was cooking the food of her refugee experience and the places she's been, and the adaptation and innovation of that, of her being a woman of color in Oakland, California. I am convinced that food and food stories, connecting back to identity, culture, and heritage is a universal thing. So today I'll be sharing one of my favorite dishes is fried rice. Fried rice is probably one of the most iconic dishes you would find in hawker centers. What are hawker centers? In Asia, traditionally, they didn't have restaurants. They have hawker centers. Hawker centers are basically food stalls you would find on the street. Each stall would do one, maybe two things expertly. And the thing that you will find the most is fried rice. So I feel like this is a great dish that anyone can do. It's one of my favorite things. All I have to do is boil 1 cup of water. I'm just gonna add my white rice, give it a quick stir, right? Get my lid, set it and forget it. 10 minutes. We'll come back to that. And then in here I have 1 teaspoon of garlic and about 1.5 teaspoons of ginger. That just goes right in. And then another very important element in fried rice is that there needs to be egg in there. There's this very specific moment where you add the egg, and you're adding the egg so that way the egg soaks up the rest of the grease and it helps make the rice fluffy. So once again, this is going to help make your fried rice less greasy, and I'll show you that technique a little bit later. While our onions are going, let's go back and check our red rice. Oh wow, look at it. It's almost ready. It's almost soaked up all the water. I'm just going to give it a stir. And then I'm just going to cook these onions, ginger, and garlic until the onion is tender. This is Maine lobster, just the tail. If you want more lobster, you can add more. You can use any protein. You can use the equivalent bacon, small dice it. You can even use picked crab meat. You can use shrimp that's already been shelled. Oh, it smells great. And now we're gonna add our egg. I'm just gonna add my egg right in the middle. Let it get crispy. I'm not gonna mix it in with the other ingredients yet because if I did that, it'll be an egg scramble. I don't wanna do that. So now the egg is cooked, I'm just gonna mix and chop. We can just go ahead and dump all this rice in. And now we're just gonna mix it. This is oyster sauce, just dump that right in. This is sunfish sauce, one of my favorite fish sauces out there. And then last, this is the secret ingredient. This is called satay. The brand is called Tiger Satay. It's a sauce that has a lot of protein and is made with lemongrass, ginger, shallot, garlic. And this is gonna make the fried rice really, really good. And now we have our fried rice. I'm just gonna add a little bit of peanuts in here, just for some texture. Boom, Flavor Town. We have lobster fried rice with Vietnamese tiger satay. It's one of my favorite things. I make this dish personally at home all the time. It's kind of spicy, but that's not a bad thing. All right, everyone, that was my lobster fried rice recipe. I hope you guys enjoyed it.